will speak up a bit because we've got the rain pounding down on the roof because it's pretty horrible weather here at the moment today. I think it is around most of the UK, but yeah. So anyway, so let's move on to what we're going to be doing today. So we've got we'll show you what's on the floor first, and then we'll show you the car. We've done this a few times now. So it's a new customer from Barnstable with his ST180, nice 17 plater, nice low mileage, all stock, not been messing around with. We'll show you it in a second. But yeah, so we just laid this out on the floor there, on the cardboard, on the Miltech box as we normally do. So starting here, look, Laura. So basically cat back, all right. So as it says, from the cat back, 2-bolt fix in there. Look, we'll disconnect that. You use the original OE gasket between that and the catalytic converter. So we use Miltech connector pipes. So this is the first connector pipe, and then you've got the secondary centre pipe which goes around the tank, which we'll show you when we get it up. This is our over axle pipe, which Julian done at one of our technical partners, Julian, Proform Engineering. He fabricates that up for us. So that's where your next bracket is. And the rear silencer, it's just a party piece really, which is the Simpson rear silencer. Alright, so as you can see, look, nice Simpson tag on there. So it doesn't come with a bracket. So again, back to Julian down at Proform. He fabricates that up and welds it onto the box for us, because Simpson wouldn't know where that goes. They would have to have the car there. So he's got a jig for that, so we know where it goes. So obviously it sits like that as it's coming out there. Look, there's your hanger on that side. There's your tag. Okay, and obviously this matches that. So it's something that we've come up with and designed, but we use the Miltech connector pipes to keep the cost down. If it was all Simpson, it would be a lot more money. All right, this is, you know, it's quite a bit more money than say a Miltech rear silencer or a Scorpion, whatever, but it's very, very unique. Sounds like nothing else. You won't get any other supplier sounding like that does. And the reason being is, the others don't have any packing in them as such, they just have a baffled system for the noise control. Whereas this is like old school. It's a bit like I always say, it's like a motorbike, because it's got full packing inside there. It's a proper race silencer. These Allen keys are not for show, so you undo them. This baffled section pulls straight out, all right, and that's when you can take packing out, put packing in. They sound better fully packed. Not intrusive at all in the cabin. Nice and purry. As soon as you get up on the throttle, bang, it comes to life. And it's a lovely sound. I've not heard anybody that we've fitted in, we've done quite a few, have been disappointed with the sound, okay? And then if you was going to track, you're not going to have any issues at all with noise. You're not going to be black flagged, no problem at all, all right? So that's that side of it. That's what we're going to be doing. Spin the camera around. So this is it. So, like I said, new customer. The other additions to this which we're going to do is we're going to put Revo Stage 1 software on it, and then complement that with an SPS switch, which will be great. That will go great with the exhaust side of it, and you'll get some nice like crackles and pops and whatever. They don't do overrun Revo on the Stage 1 software. That's Stage 2 where they start that from. But even so, the exhaust will get some nice sound from that. So a nice, straightforward-ish, simple one on this one. So we'll crack on, get the exhaust done first, and then we'll load up the Revo software and then go from there. So, yeah, see you in a moment. Right, so we're now underside of the ST180. We just thought we would just show you the standard exhaust. I mean, a lot of you have already know what it looks like anyway, but you know, it's worth talking about it. Right, so there we are. So on the standard one, you've got a centre silencer, 2-bolt flange to deflect a bit from the catalytic converter. Now, I've talked about this before, right? I don't even bother trying to undo them with get the penetrating fluid on it, or get a bar on it and all that sort of stuff. You do not want to be putting pressure on this, all right? So I just get the gas on them straight away, get them cherry, they'll undo, no problem, all right? Because you need the studs. You know, it doesn't matter if it does matter if it snaps, because obviously then you're stuck with it's a stud in there, all right? So what we need to do is get them off so that it stays intact, all right? Because then it's just fresh nuts on there. Where you go. So following it along here, look, you can see it's all pretty crumbly and rusty. I mean, you know,
It is what it is, isn't it? This is the, like I said, you know, the anti-flex cross member bit, which just stops the body from flexing, doesn't it? So we're going to take that off. So we chop it right here, sort of like, all right, because then, not that you would want to, but if you ever want to put the stock exhaust back on, you just put a sleeve in there, done. So there's your mounting point. So you've got one there, one out the front, one there, and then one on the rear silencer. All right, so, but there's nothing exciting in the standard exhaust. It's a bit, you know, basic, isn't it? Now, let's talk about this. You know what, this is the best tool that I've ever bought. Fantastic. All right, for those of you who struggle to get these rubbers out, all right, which you do, you think, oh, you know, get a lever bar on it and you're trying to get it out and trying to push it. Honestly, this tool from Snap-on is fantastic, all right? It's just, it is brilliant. All right, I even showed it to, even at Simpson. When I was up at Simpson, I was speaking to Matt about it, Matt Simpson, and I said, you got one of these? He said, no, what's that? I showed it to him. He said, yeah, I definitely need to get one of them. All right, so it's pretty cool. So it just up that up, right? You put it on there, look, that pushes against that, watch. It just pushes it out. It's that easy. Some of them are really tricky to get off, but that is fantastic. All right, so just a bit of info for you, guys and girls. Snap-on, get one. All right, so I'm going to be using this soon. I'm going to crack on and then come back with some more info later. Right, back under the, or continuing with the underside of the ST180. We're fitting the exhaust on. We'll come on to the Revo in a sec. Right, anyway, so we've fitted it all up now, as you can see. We'll start at the front. Now, as I said before, these two studs, absolute nightmare. All right, so I got one of them off by getting it nice and cherry hot. The other side, got so far, and then it started to spin and spin and spin, so it's stuck on the thread. So I had to cut the nut off to get it off, all right? And then obviously the threads are no good. You've got to then have a look at the threads, make a decision on that. Well, they were all, you know, no good, just where it pulled it. So what you do then is warm up the actual flange bit of the flexi, you know, the cap, and then you have to hold it steady, and then once it's nice and glowing, and you can tap them out with a, you know, a little mallet, and then because they're splined in, you just spline her out. There's one here, look. You can actually see what I mean, look. So there's the spline, look, where they're splined in, so let's see them going that way. There's the end of the thread, look. That's no good. You know, you could say, oh yeah, well, we'll start it there. That's just fudging it off, isn't it? That's not good. I've got the other one there as well. That one there, the other is worse, I think. Well, it's here somewhere. I don't know, put it for the customer to see. But the nuts were, yeah, so they're both no good anyway. Anyway, so then what we do then is nut and bolt it, which you can see. Use the original gasket. Follow it along, Laura. There's your central connector pipe, as I said, goes around like that with the S-bend. Right. On this little cross member, what you have to do with this is what we do, because it has to sit in a certain position, we just space it down so that clears the exhaust, so it's not banging around on it. All right, there's plenty of clearance there now. It doesn't look it, but if you look down there, there's enough clearance. All right, because else that would be hard up against that, wouldn't it? If you twist that too far, then you think, oh, why can't you twist it up? Right, and so if you twist that up, that then comes down to here. That sits too low, so it's a compromise. Right, then that's the over axle pipe, as you can see, which all flows nice in the cutout on the chassis along there. And then this is Simpson rear silencer, look. So that's the all-in bracket, all in line, look, as you can see, look. That's all in line. And then you come to the rear silencer, look. Come out there, have a look at the rear silencer. And there's the bracket there, look. We put one of the polyurethane ones that the customer supplied on the rear only, because that just steadies up, and there's no cap in the end of that starting coming off, so that ain't going nowhere. All right, and then the tag's nice and looks nice on there as well. You wanted me to fit the other ones on it, but they're just really hard and difficult to get over to the little lugs on the actual support bracket, so I don't bother with them anyway. I mean, it's all right putting one on the back of there, but just stick with the OE ones, all right. You know, I put them all on the polyurethane ones on the little beast, and they still melted and broke and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so we'll just stick with the OE ones. Let's say we'll put them on the back. That's it. So we'll fire up now, let you have a listen to it. You'll get an idea of what it sounds like, and then we'll crack on and do the Revo software. Right, so we fired them up. Just checking for leaks. Obviously it needs to go through a heat cycle. When I come back from road test, I put it on, check it again, make sure then get a few more movements on the clamps, because I'll mark the clamps so I'll be able to see how much movement I can get on them. But yeah, it's all good. As you can see, it's pretty subtle. It doesn't, it's not like noisy or intrusive at all. And then when you, it's just a nice, like bassy, deep tone. So what I'll do is I'll let him down now. I'll do a few revs on it and you'll be able to hear what it's like. But the conversation we had before when the customer dropped off was, oh, it's not going to be you know, intrusive, it's not going to be, you know, drony. Not at all, not at all, because it's unique, isn't it? That has, unlike others, that has proper packing inside it. So yeah, it's good. Let's let it down, give it a few little flips. Go to the pipe. Well, we'll go right down. Ready? It's a real nice sound. So when it's idling that, it's just nice purrs away. When you get on the road, it'll be different again. I mean, that's just static, isn't it? So, gives you an idea. It's not the same as doing it in real life, but yeah. Right, enough of that. Let's crack on and do the software. Right, so we're now at the driver's side of the Fiesta ST180. As you can see, we're loading up the Revo Stage 1 software. We're going to put a superseded file on it first. Yeah, you can come around to me. Don't worry about that. That's not you know, talented and good looking, is it? Wrong direction. Yes, we had to put a superseded file on it first. You don't know that until you communicate with the car. Brings it right up to date. And now we're loading on the Revo Stage 1 software. As you can see, we got the SPS switch here, which we'll program afterwards. We got the battery support on it, which is always recommended to do. You don't want it dropping out on the voltage when you're installing any sort of file software, because you'll have to do it again. So once we've done that, we'll just test everything, make sure it's right, then I'll go out on the road with it and data log it, make sure it's doing what it's doing. Recheck the exhaust, as I said before, put it back on the ramp after it's had a heat cycle. Let's do it slowly, Laura, because or else I'll get my ting in the twast.
Yeah,
yeah?
we need to plug you into the diagnostics.
Diagnostics, yeah.
Yeah.
Misfire, sort me out, see what the comes back with the code, erase the code and see whether, or if it's a permanent fault, you won't erase it, yeah?
Scrap
You're
yard.
stuck with that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. All right, so part needs to be changed, i.e. me, yeah? Right, so let's crack on, wait for that to finish, shouldn't be too much longer now. Road test, back, finish up. Bob's drunk, go fanny's your aunt, see ya. Right, so we've just come back from road test, everything's all good. I've just put the car up in the air, just checked the clearance, make sure everything's good. The heat shield, I'll manipulate that a little bit. Check the clamps, yeah, then everything's all good. You get tiny little weeps from somewhere, but that's just the normal, it'll seal itself up. It's not major leak, obviously. But yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in and just show you the SPS switch works, right? So bear with me. Right, you now join me in the car. What I might as well do while you're here is, let me just turn that off for a minute. I'll show you how the SPS switch works. Right, so on the Revo, we've got the SPS switch, which is there. So you've got your little dial there, look. 0 to 9. The only ones that we're interested in, right, is 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me just talk you through them. So number 1 is stock power. So on this particular application, you can use stock power. If you have a stage 2 or stage 3 or 4, whatever, there won't really be a stock option. You put it back to stock, it's not really going to be stock if you've got a big turbo on it, is it? So it's on a stage 2, sort of like back to stock, you're still utilising the standard turbo on it. But anyway, so position 1 will be stock power.
stage 2 will be for your lower octane fuel, 95 RON. If you get stuck and you think, oh, I can only get 95, as we all know, fuel is king. You should be putting in the highest octane that you can get your hands on, really. Right, so that would be on number 3. So that's going to give you 98 RON plus. All right, and then number 4 is anti-theft, which is superb. It's brilliant on this, the anti-theft. So basically, the way it works is, look. So if I just put it back to 0, look. All right, for a minute. Ignition on. Down in here, Laura, as you can see, put the coin drawer down. In there is your 16-pin OBD. So on this, the way that this is configured with the cutout, it's upside down. You put it in upside down. On the Mark 8, it's button facing up because they've turned it around. So on this one, so you go to number 4. So basically, jump in the car, put the ignition on, put it on number 4. Let's just say, for example, you're leaving the car somewhere, or you're going in for the evening, and you want to just have a bit more protection on it and peace of mind. So on to number 4, ignition on. So put it in, as we said, upside down into the. So that noise that you can hear, the little chime, means that the SVS is communicated with the Revo software. All right. So now, if we now go to start it up, this is on anti-theft now. All right. So I'm trying to pump the accelerator, nothing, and the revs are on 500. So basically, you ain't going anywhere with this car when that's actually activated. All right. So to put it back onto your normal RON file, this car has got 99 momentum in it, or V-power. So we just put it on number 3. So you say you come out in the morning, you shut it down. You come out in the morning, put it on number 3, upside down. All right. Delete. That's what you're listening for. Out it comes. You start it up. Now you're back onto your 98 plus RON map, which is, that's it. So number 2 is there. You get caught out, and then what will happen is the Revo software, you put it on number 2, that communicates, the SBS switch will communicate with the Revo software, and then it will then recalibrate the timing, etc., to suit 95 RON fuel. All right. So that's just a little bit about the SBS switch, really, how it works. Quite straightforward. A little bit of getting used to, like the customer hasn't used it before, so I'll talk him through it. Once you've done it a few times, it'll be easy. And also, you get a little card right way up there, so we'll fill that in. Just what it is: 1 stock, 2, 95 RON, 98 anti-theft. So that if he thinks, oh, what was that for? Again, what did he say? Refer to that, it tells you. All right. So we'll fill that in. Fill in the Revo passport, which you can see, we showed you that before. That's just like a little book which you put in all the details of the vehicle, this vehicle, which will be, I'll turn off a minute, which will be obviously the date, the ECU file, all the details on the car, the VIN number, registration number, and then obviously the file, Revo file that we put on it. This one had to have an updated superseded stock file, that'll go on there. Then I've got that information, so as Revo, it'll be uploaded to Revo, so they've got all the information on this car. So if the gentleman wanted to go to stage 2, ideal. Then he's got all the details in it. He can just, it's a bit like a service record book, really. I don't know of anybody else that does that. You know, that's how professional Revo are. All right, so everything's proper and everything's been, as you know Revo, it's all been globally tested with their development program. So, as I say, only Revo. All right, so that's it, really. So we'll just have a scoot around to the back look and just show you. You've already listened to it, I've already read it a few times, so we won't do that too much. So we just come round up and just finish up. So you can see that lovely Simpson tailpipe with the Simpson tag on the back of it. Looks really cool. I won't touch it because it's hot, because I've been for a drive in it, and then take credit for its paces. But it goes really well, it's doing everything what it should do, which it always does. And yeah, I'm really happy with it, really pleased with it. The stage 1 on these ST180s is really punchy. Again, you don't need any hardware. He's had an exhaust fitted, obviously, because he wanted a bit more noise and drama, but you don't need to do anything. But he's got the air filter, he's got the rear motor mount, but you can just roll in with a completely standard car, put a Revo stage 1 on it and drive up the road. You don't need any hardware. That's the beauty of it, and it transforms it, especially in the mid-range. Right, so there. So any of you guys and girls, ST180 owners, ST200 owners, then give us a call. Give us a call at your convenience. Follow us on Instagram, the Facebook side of it, obviously YouTube, which is what you're watching now. But yeah, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, comments down below, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Yeah.